begin tonight with news just coming in from the White House. What the president is calling a new nationwide strategy for testing Americans to get them back to work. But the guidelines, which President Trump just announced in the Rose Garden, require individual states to find testing supplies and conduct their tests, rather than the federal government. The new plan comes as more and more Americans are suffering what's being called quarantine fatigue, a desire to return to a more normal life after weeks of staying home. That burnout, combined with rising unemployment, is leading 19 states to loosen restrictions and reopen some businesses and restaurants. Even more plan to do so by May 1st. But in many of those states, the number of infections is still rising. Tonight, there are more than 985,000 confirmed cases in the U.S. Nearly 56,000 people have died nationwide. And as we come on the air tonight, the chairman of Tyson's Foods, which produces 20% of the country's beef, pork, and chicken, is warning the U.S. food supply chain is breaking because so many processing plant workers are getting sick, even as farmers say their food is rotting in the fields because they can't harvest it. A lot to get to tonight. Our team of correspondents is standing by, and CBS's Mark Strassmann is going to lead us off tonight outside Atlanta. Mark?
Nora, riding out a pandemic in Georgia suddenly has options. You can go out to dinner and a movie. You can get a haircut, a workout, a tattoo. And if you're wondering, does any of that sound smart? Well, so are many Georgians. Dining out in America's contagion. A waitress wearing a mask and gloves tried to serve reassurance. Table service returned today to Atlanta's 4 Bad Daddy burger bars. This sign reminded everyone safety is on the menu.
Among our servers, our bartenders, they'll be wearing masks. There's hand sanitizer that's able to be used. We have disposable menus.
Any Georgia restaurant could reopen, from a breakfast chain to a local pizzeria. But few in Atlanta did, and most of their tables sat empty. Governor Brian Kemp's hungry to reverse Georgia's soaring unemployment. More than 1 million new claims in 4 weeks. But health experts worry impatience is the new pathogen for governors and consumers.
That's bad for them, and it's also bad for healthcare workers. We have worked so hard, and our healthcare workers have sacrificed so much over the last month.
For any state to reopen, White House guidelines call for a 2-week downward trend of documented COVID cases. No state meets that standard. Over Georgia's last 2 weeks, COVID cases have jumped 38% and COVID deaths 51%. As of today, at least 19 states have already loosened some restrictions. 17 more will loosen them by this Friday, May 1st. Researchers at the University of Maryland tracking cell phone data report people are venturing out more, ignoring stay-home orders, possibly because of quarantine fatigue. It looked that way on California's beaches over the weekend. The governor today promised to crack down.
Those images are an example of what not to see. People, what not to do. Back in Georgia, movie theaters can also reopen. Most stayed dark.
We won't open today, and honestly, it's not a very difficult decision to make.
Owner Chris Escobar owns the Plaza Theater in Atlanta, closed since mid-March.
I know movies. I don't know public health, so I'm going to listen to people who do.
Inside this reopened restaurant, there are a few people eating inside, and on the patio here, every other table is marked off to help keep the parties at least 6 feet apart. The staff is wearing gloves and masks. The menus are disposable. And now, Nora, fingers crossed that everyone's safe.
All right, Mark, thank you.